Okay, so we're ready to make a first pass on the drawing, which is setting up our views. And we'll probably go base, sides, and then the holder components. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drawings, and then 10 drawings. Number of parts, and then let's see, then because we reordered, all of my hardware is at the bottom with the socket head cap screw, the bearing, the bolts, and the half 13. So it's pretty good on that mix. So we'll add the next sheet, and let's go back over to the view palette, and we'll double click. And I want the holder base, and I try to make these kind of a roadmap. So here's one of the what would be one of the advantages of maybe doing the single is that because there's a certain layer of complexity to this part, and they did the section views, and there's going to be a lot of geometry going on here. I may do a drawing that has the overall and kind of goes through the same basic process. I don't want to add dimensions just yet, and that was metric. So let's go ahead and do sort of what they did, the front view. And while I've got that active, we'll just go ahead and select, add the note, and as long as it's added to the box, all right, I'll reposition it later, front view. I need to enter and then escape to get out of it. All right, I can put that as the front view. And then this drawing sheet will go to half scale. All right, we've got our centers. Let's see what, nothing really popped out at the top. I think we could probably get the geometry in. Let's go ahead and refresh that, and we'll go to the back and get out of the projected view, back into the note, and this will be the back view. Okay, and we'll escape out of that, drop that out of the way. So I look pretty close. You can tell that that little weird segment thing that they did there is the main difference. Let's see, height-wise, yeah, we'll probably do what they did on the in view and try to get a couple of those. Might also crop out a portion of that. So let's go with that for now, and then we'll come back and revisit it when we start the dimensions. All right, so back to the view palette, and the next one I'll do with the model view. So let's go with the side. We'll grab the front, comes in way too big, of course, and then the isometric. And we'll go ahead and accept, and these are probably going to be, well, 1/10. And that is kind of the strange thing about the metric going half, 1/5, 1/10. We can always go to user defined and say maybe 1/8. And with all of those dimensions, yeah, let's try the 1/5. Okay, 1/5 isn't too bad, and we might be able to sneak everything in there. All right, next ones will be the links, and said that I was going to do a model view. So if you're seeing this, we're doing basically the same thing. Browse link 1, and we'll grab the front view. If I create the multiple views, then we'll have a right side view. don't really need a top view per se. It's pretty much going to look like that with a couple of the other. So half, and the isometric got a little bit big there, so if we go custom scale, I would switch that back to 1/5. And we'll position those around a little bit. And the next one, model view, browse, link to. And this is going to get a little bit long for our sizing. So we'll go ahead and accept it. Let's stay in the 1/5. For the isometric, and then 1/2, and then it shifted to the custom, so that will go sheet scale. And we might be able to sneak the third one in as well. We're going to run shorter space on the scroll bar. So if I go find the double arrows, I can move that a little bit. And we might just go through and do the rename. So if I need more room, then I would just do the rename and would be fine with S8 as opposed to sheet 8. And if you put in full names of the parts, that gets a little long as well, and then you'd end up doing more of the scrolling when it runs out of room. Link 3 and create multiple. So it's kind of the toss up between, let's see, at that stay. So use sheet scale, and that one should be parent scale. And then that one for the isometric should stay at the 1/5. So let's see what it looks like at 1/2. It's sneaking in there. It's going to be close, but we'll see how it looks on the dimensions. Shouldn't really be a lot of dimensions. So, all right. So let's go into the holders. We can also get to the model drawing view from the insert and browse. One thing with the view palette is that it shows up, but it is only active in the drawing. So I want to do the disk top since it is common to both. And we'll just drop those 3 in. So if I just drop in the front view, I'm basically doing the same thing as the view palette. I think that looks okay. Go to the next one, and then we can bring in the long. So the nice thing about the view palette is the previews. So if I bring in the front and a right side and an isometric, that looks kind of strange, but I don't want it to be that direction. So this is where I'm going to select the view, come up to the heads-up display and say rotate, and give me the rotate 90 degrees. Once I apply it, it warns me about the dimensions. And since it did not pull up the 832 on that rotation, we need to go to the next one, 270, apply. Yes, I still want to rotate, and then we can close it. All right, and then let's see, we're parent scale, so I want to use a custom scale. Oh, 2 to 1. How about 1/2? Yeah, that's pretty small. And instead of 2 to 1, let's go 1 to 1. All right, that looks a lot better. I probably could leave that at 1 to 1 then. I'll just stay with the parent scale. Since it's not too far off. All right, another sheet, and we have the small, and then we'll do the spacers. All right, so check, 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 short. Okay. And we'll do the same thing, front, front isometric, go ahead and accept it. If the 270 stays consistent, then I'll get the 832 in that view. And we'll drag that one over. And we stayed 1-to-1. All right, and then the spacers are small enough that we'll try to do both of those in the same on the same sheet, but as a general rule, 1 part per sheet. All right, so the front view, the right view, and the isometric, and then we go in and we find the spacer short. Then we're going to have a front view, a right side view, and an isometric view. And typically what I would do here is making sure that none of the views are selected, so I'm not tying my separator to anything. I would probably just drop a separator, so kind of go that route. And that should go to gray at some point. We'll save this. And if I did want to do the rename, the other thing we could look at, let's see, is that going to, oh, that popped off the frame. So there is properties, edit sheet format, properties, rename. So if I do rename, we can do S12. If I do the properties, then we get this, and oh, I'm already in that one. Properties and S11. All right, we're just shrinking those up a little bit so that I don't have to scroll. And then the other one of note is if I come over here and do the properties, it takes me to the same properties and apply changes. And then single clicks, not so much. Let's see, I don't see a rename. So if we customize, we might be able to add a rename there. But if we're going to go this route, it'd probably just stay with properties and do something like that. So if you want to do the rest of them, go ahead. This kind of takes us through the first, does it make sense with the views? And we're not populating the titles out just yet. The links, the top, and the spacers, and the holders and the spacers. All right, so one more save, and we'll come back and add some dimensions.